Do we move on to chapter 5?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is chapter 5, The Proposal. Ellie watches Florence walk further into the distance and shivers, turns back into the inn, and she spots a flicker in the corner of her eye. It's gone just as quickly, but there's a small indent in the fallen snow.
I'm so sorry. I have to include this in the recording. I went, because I was curious, I was like, what did I have for the proposal? I don't remember anything. Turns out there's a reason. I want you to read that note out loud.
Yep. This session was improvised due to DM's depressive episode, but it went surprisingly well.
Yay!
Oh, wait, no.
I usually write a bit first, and that didn't happen.
So the chapter begins with Ellie watching Florence walk further into the distance. She turns to the inn, and she spots something flicker in the corner of her eye, but it's gone very quickly, and there's a small indent in the fallen snow. She then walks into the bedroom she's sharing with Lilith for the night, and she notes that Lilith is clinging onto Hypnos for dear life. At that point, Lilith dives into the dream world and lands gracefully in the foyer of doors. And she guides her to Aislinn guides her to tonight's destination, which is a door labeled Atticus Snapdragon. Lilith steps out of a closet and into a modest Victorian-style bedroom, and a little girl in a purple dress cheerily runs through the door. This little girl turns out to be a child version of Claire, and when Claire asks Lilith for her name, Lilith introduces herself after a bit of hesitation as Lily Eve. Claire takes her by the hand and drags her to the sitting room, where a nervous girl in a feminine coat takes meticulous notes. She also has glasses, and she introduces herself as Andrea. Lilith immediately realizes this is Atticus pre-transition, and so she looks at Andrea carefully and asks if that's really what she wants to be called. Claire completely plays along, and Andrea admits that she wants to be called Atticus, to which Lilith says it fits her more. At that point, they hear shouts from the other room, and Lilith ushers the kids to Atticus's room. And then a hulking male figure, if I remember correctly, I think you called him a shit brick house or something.
Brick shit.
Yeah, a brick shit house in the moment.
That was me. That was an
Ellie.
That was a Mary Jo.
So Mary Jo
favorite line.
Yeah. A hulking male figure throws suspicion to the wall. Lilith promises to keep child Atticus and Claire safe, and asks that in return that they promise to stay in the closet. Haha. Atticus.
Oh God!
Just for a minute.
Atticus promises, and they link pinkies. Andre, his father, continues to hurl insults at his wife as he enters the bedroom. Andre asks what she's doing barging into his home. She stares him down. They banter for a bit. He draws twin pistols. She readies an eldritch blast. And then she hears a more masculine voice say, "You're not my father." And while Atticus is still clad in a dress and that awful feminine coat, he is fully grown now to the way Lilith knows him best. And he tells father off and says, "And my name's not Andrea, it's Atticus." At that point, we go Alice in Wonderland style, where things change size in very weird ways.
It's all about perception of how Atticus sees his dad. It's symbolism.
Yes. At that point,
Thank you for clarifying that. I didn't get it before at all.
Andre roars. He grows the size of a giant. They then dash through the room and towards the door. They're trying to avoid Andre's attacks. Lilith grabs the Lammy plush on the way out because that's item number 1. They then find item number 2, which is a contraption that makes a potato dance. They then go through Snapdragon Manor more. And then as Lilith and Atticus debate how they can get that stupid dress off of him, Andre grabs him. Lilith then goes to grab the final item, a woman's hairbrush. She's tiny. The vanity is very big. She goes to fly up with her wings and she falls. But then a big hand catches her, and the woman, Atticus' mother, asks if Lilith is a fairy. To which Lilith says, "Yes, I suppose I am." Lady Snapdragon then smiles and gets the hairbrush for Lilith and then carries her to the cellar door. At that point, Andre is strapped Atticus to a dissecting table and trying to put clothes on him. And at that point...
I suppose this is a bad time to say content warning for trigger warning for the folks who may have issues with this.
Yeah. At that point...
Leave him alone!
At that point,
Leave Brittany alone.
Andre tells Lilith a wretched fairy. She tells him off. And then she frees him and they finally manage to escape. Aislinn then teases Lilith and Atticus in the in-between by saying it's her boyfriend. Aislinn licks his cheek, reminding us that, yeah, she's an archway, she's really weird. And then they go...
I like him.
I love her so much.
And then Lilith and Atticus go to the dream world for a date. And then I remember the table specifically saying, happy birthday, Jillian, because this was my birthday session. My birthday was 2 days prior to this session.
Oh my god, that's right.
And everyone's like, we'll let you have this self-indulgent moment with like 20-minute part with Atticus because it's your birthday and we love you.
Happy birthday to you.
Here, play make-believe your pretend crush. So at that point... All right. So at that point, Lilith is asleep when Ellie wakes up. Ellie then writes a letter to Burst that says we're here and he's good. Burst signs his response with love, which is very sweet and really special considering all he's been through and his issues. Mm-hmm. Gwilla also writes to Hanlon thanking him for his response and asking for some sort of elaboration on Val's condition. She ends the correspondence with a vow not to send additional letters to her father, but she offers to be Hanlon's pen pal instead. Hanlon tells her that Val is a very lucky dad.
I say this with all the love in the world to Gwilla. I just find it very unfortunate that this is her circumstance. Gwilla will take what she can get for a father figure in this universe.
Yeah, and that of all the options, Hanlon is
Hey, he's gotten so much better.
And
you're not giving him a chance.
I can't give him a chance because he's spoilered.
Because he's what?
Oh no, he's gonna spoilers. I can't reconnect with him because
we don't know yet.
Dead.
We don't know that.
As far as we know, he's dead.
We know he's not.
We don't know.
We do know. Death doesn't have him. That means he's not dead.
It could be because Sidra has him. We don't know.
That still doesn't mean he's dead.
That's a good point.
We'll get to it later.
He is redacted.
Except you said going into like there is a character who will permanently die. Someone will die tonight in the Discord, and we're like, oh no, who is it? And I immediately said it's gonna be Hanlon, and I was right. In any case, Paeris then puts on their Brian disguise and stumbles downstairs with a dopey expression on their face. They run their hand through their mussed up hair and take care to cover their neck with their scarf and cloak, and then scribble a letter to Riot. They're traveling with Lilith, and she's doing okay. I'll leave the confession to you. And in that same spirit of open communication, not keeping secrets, I need to tell you that I may have found your father. All the more reason to keep fighting, so stay alive, all right? Riot's response takes a while to arrive, and she admits that her feelings about her dad are extremely complicated. Gwilla tells Lilith about her response with Hanlon over breakfast, and then reveals to the entire party that Val is alive. Paeris is excited, but not quite sure what to think, and then asks Gwilla if there's anything that they can do to help her. She then asks if they can join her and Wake for a visit to Sammy later in the day. The conversation turns to somewhat lighter matters after Gwilla's revelation. They talk about things like school, and everyone has childhood trauma, hooray! But also, Lilith and Paeris bond over the fact that they both have ADHD, although I don't think the term ADHD was ever used in that session. Oh. That was a very sweet moment.
Oh.
Lilith then asks Ellie if they can have a one-on-one conversation, and the two women excuse themselves from the group. A young dwarven woman approaches and introduces herself as Sally Frostfret. The first thing that Paeris notices about her is how cold her hands are. And then Sally asks the party if they can deliver a letter to Plume, a friend who resides in Dragon's Hearth that she hasn't heard from in a while. And she notes that the zip line has closed in Dragon's Hearth due to the war, and Paeris and Gwilla are a bit concerned about that.
I love the emphasis on friend.
No, friend.
Yeah,
friend.
I think it's appropriate. At this point is probably one of my absolute favorite conversations between Lilith and Ellie, along with another one that will be coming up later, which is when Lilith apologizes to Ellie and says that she didn't mean to find out, but she now knows that the Morning Queen is Sidra's sister. Ellie is taken aback, and Lilith notes how finding out Sidra's true identity changes everything, and that while a violent overthrow is the easy solution, and it would be simple to brush Sidra off as a lost cause, start another revolution, and Ellie gets really angry at this. Lilith says that's the issue. The last time she tried that solution, her solution, it just made things worse. I can't kill her, Ellie. She's your sister. Ellie sighs, uncrosses her arms, and they open up a little bit and realize that they're more similar than they think, even though they do differ on a lot of things opinion-wise. Neither really knows what to do in this situation. Both of them are hurting, and in the end, so is Sidra. Lilith also reflects that she and Sidra are more similar than she'd like to admit. Ellie then challenges her and asks what she's going to do about it. And Lilith pauses. Maybe, she begins, a little unsure at first. We need to fight and to heal. to inspire and to rally people. We need to help them find a path to catharsis. Hey.
Hey.
We need to mourn for what's been lost. Yep. We need to mourn for what's been lost and build something new alongside those who are hurting. We need to collaborate and to try to understand one another. Because if we don't, and we just focus on vengeance and tearing old systems down, then this cycle of violence and oppression and on death will never end. Ellie isn't quite sold on the fighting part, but admires Lilith's resolve regardless, and Lilith hugs her and thanks her for helping her realize why she was brought back to life. Ellie then writes a letter to Sidra because she was invigorated by the conversation, and to her shock, Sidra responds and says, I'm not the same sister you I'm not... I talk too fast. I talk way too fast.
It's impressive, honestly. I'm like, damn.
Invigorated by her conversation with Lilith, Ellie writes a letter to Sidra, and to her shock, Sidra responds, I'm not the same sister you remember. I've done terrible things, and I'm the worst version of me. The letter ends with confirmation that May will die if the curse is broken, and Sidra signs it with a single initial. Gwilla, Wiki, and Paeris then go to Sammy's shop, and Sammy darts out from under the counter as soon as they enter. I think he's an animal or something. I'm not sure which one.
Okay, if I pop in?
Yeah, of course.
Second? I'm gonna put a keyword out here for everyone, just on my character's behalf. Just pay close attention. Keyword is worst version of myself.
For Sidra?
For all villains in this arc currently.
True.
Think about what the best version could potentially be.
Milori.
Think about, yes, but counterpoint, think of what happens if they can't be that.
I want Prospero to stay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want Prospero to be the thick lesbian goddess she is.
That would be really nice.
I've been trying to do this whole time with
That would
her.
be so nice, but also, how can I forget the fact that she cursed so many people?
I know. But like, I want to believe people.
Or maybe she did.
She was just kidding. It was just in Minecraft.
It was just on the server. It was just on the server.
It was on the server. That's something you can do, right? I don't know. The group here doesn't
Take backsies.
The group here doesn't play Minecraft. The people I know who play Minecraft and are obsessed with it are not at this table right now.
I
Minecraft.
actually do play Minecraft, but I just haven't in a hot minute.
I just know that a lot of times if something comes up that's like contentious or whatever, or like something is what's the word?
Problematic.
Debatable.
No. What's it called? Alleged.
Yeah.
Something's instead of saying allegedly, people will be like in Minecraft because they can't say that it's it actually happened, even though it probably did.
Right. All right. So I'll continue on here. So Gwilla, Wiki, and Paeris draw a door to Sammy's shop. The archway darts out from under the counter as soon as they enter. I don't have what animal he is, but I'm sure it's something.
He was
great.
a dog.
He was a dog. Yep. And then when he turns into his humanoid form, Wick locks eyes with him, and he blushes.
He's like, shit, that one's hot.
And we learn that Wick is in fact a bisexual king.
Oh yeah, was that the first time y'all found out he was?
That was
dudes?
the first time that we learned Wick was bi.
That is not know.
He is hot.
And this was before your current partner.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god.
Gwilla then
Foreshadowing, I fucking called it.
foreshadowing in real life.
Hi,
Yeah.
Gwilla is fine with this and teases Wick and asks if she has competition, and Paeris elbows Wick playfully. Sammy then greets them and says,
like, no.
No. Paris is like,
Paeris is such an enabler when it comes to any of that stuff.
They are, absolutely, 100%. They're here for the theys and the gays.
And then
Yes.
combine them with Lilith or Atticus and they just get even worse.
It's true.
In any case, Sammy greets them and says that he's been rooting for them from afar, but that things on the Archway's domain have grown really tense since the whole Lilith-Zephyr breakup. To quote my notes here, Zephyr has been throwing constant tantrums, and his complaints about Lilith and his plans going belly up have been nothing short of a nuisance. To which Paeris says, wow, I'm glad he's so miserable. And Sammy says that he couldn't agree more.
Damn.
Which is so in character, I love that. At that point, Gwilla fills Paeris in on her plan to befriend Prospera, and then trades several Might Marbles because she wants some that are specific to Deidre. She then tosses a Deidre marble into the air when Sammy hands it to her, and she sees a memory where Deidre emerges from a nest of tattered bed sheets, and her grief is suffocating her as well as the current king of Catharsis, who I believe is one of her descendants.
Yes. I believe that was her
Might have been a son.
her adopted son.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, all the kids are adopted. So
They have to be.
So Sidra, no. So at that point, Deidre says she wants to be alone. The king says, I don't think you do. I really like this turn of phrase here. It all happened so suddenly. One moment, Isabella was by Deidre's side, and the next moment she was interred in the royal family's mausoleum. I didn't think you'd ever leave me, Deidre thought during the ceremony. Yet she did, as all mortals must. The king clears his throat and then announces that a witch seeks an audience with Deidre, and the witch claims to have a cure for her melancholy and holds up a necklace. Deidre says she doesn't want magical trinkets, but the witch counters by saying, you do want your wife. The witch belongs to the Lavender family, and the witch explains that the necklace can hold a single soul and facilitate communication between it and whoever wears it. Deidre stiffens, and the Lavender Witch says that all she asks for in return is for a plot of open fields. Deidre then says one day, just one day with her, then I'll let her go. And as Sammy notes, it was not just one day. The temptation was too great, and Isabella paid the price. Gwilla frowns. She's still not a fan of her mother after seeing that. And Gwilla vows to free Isabella and destroy the widow's chair. Paeris hesitates, notes that they also would love the chance to talk to the loved one again. And tension flares up between them. And Paeris talks about their experiences with grief and losing their mother. Wick empathizes with Paeris, but also agrees with Gwilla in that the widow's chair is too powerful and needs to be destroyed. Paeris then admits that the reason that they stole the widow's chair was so they could talk to their mother one last time. But in the end, they stole so many people's futures. They finally agree to make the right choice and help free Isabella, then destroy the necklace.
I'm sorry, the way you phrased that was great.
Yeah, I think that was a direct quote too.
Mayhaps.
That was,
perchance.
either way, it was great. Whoever wrote it, I really enjoyed that.
No,
Good job, you.
That was you who said it.
But the way you phrased it, they stole their... I said that?
The reason I stole the widow's chair was so I could talk to my mom last time. The futures thing? Yeah, that was you.
And I ended up stealing their future?
Yeah, that was you.
That was me?
I had that in quotes.
Oh, goddamn. All right, never mind.
Good job,
Good job, me.
Gwilla points out that by destroying the cycle, they will also be destroying cycles of generational abuse and grief. Sammy smiles at their resolve and makes a few more trades with Gwilla and Paeris so that they can obtain a memory marble of Prospera, a memory marble belonging to Wick's mother, a dragon town that belonged to Obsidian, and a music box that belonged to Prospera. Sammy urges the party to give the music box to Prospera as soon as they are able and asks them to save his sister, though he understands that she's beyond repair. He also says that he'd rather that she died than someone who tried to be her friend. Ellie makes her way to the perch by herself, and she throws up a marble and asks how Sidra got Cadmus to marry her. At that point, we see a scene...
You bag a baddie.
Yeah. At that point, we see a scene where nobility wander about, and a beautiful woman with sunflowers in her hair watches on from the queen's throne. She's very haggard. Beside her stands another black woman in a green, purple, and gold suit. She also has purple and gold eyes. Cadmus then calls for his mother and says that he has a proposal from a woman named Sidra Aster. The queen mother then gives him a surprised look as Sidra is ushered in. A woman with golden curls rushes in by her side and uncomfortably steps toward the sidelines and looks behind her to a young boy in chains, flanked by Kingsguard. Sidra carries herself with her shoulders pushed back and
I did bring into the proposal.
Yep. Sidra carries herself with her shoulders pushed back and an unquenchable fury in her eyes. The queen asks who Sidra is, and she says that she is Sidra Aster, and she grew up in Mosswood. Oh, you're the daughter of the runaway. Your mother was a rebel. My mother is dead. Cadmus rouses up the crowd and asks them why they think of Sidra, and they murmur in curiosity and excitement. He then asks why Sidra wants to marry him, and she says that a marriage can be a business transaction, and in exchange for her hand, Charlie must be freed and the execution of the drow must end. Cadmus then gets really racist and says that he forgot that she was drow because she doesn't look ugly like them. She then counters that he doesn't look like an asshole. And the nobility are scandalized. And Sidra stands her ground because she has nothing left to lose. Her family is dead, Charlie's is dead, and if this doesn't go right, then Charlie will also die. Cadmus grows bored and summons a guard to bring out gauntlets of truth, and he secures them onto her wrists. He then asks Sidra why she wishes to marry him, and her response is the same as when she was not wearing the gauntlets. He then notes that she is the only one who hasn't lied to him. And the Queen Mother nods, and Cadmus gestures to Charlie so he can answer who Sidra is to him.
He doesn't like liars.
Yeah.
That is consistent.
Yep.
He really doesn't like liars.
Yeah. Charlie
He truly does not like liars.
My daddy lied. He said he would stay.
Spoilers! Penelope corroborates Sidra and Charlie's accounts, and Charlie is immediately offered a job as a page. Cadmus finally has one final question, which is, how do I know you won't kill me? Sidra responds that she doesn't, but she knows she doesn't want to kill anyone anymore. And she finally admits that she'd kill Cadmus if given the chance. That's the last thing Cadmus is to hear, and he tells his mother to help her because the wedding will be happening tomorrow. Before he leaves, Cadmus
This bitch is wettable.
Before
He's gonna marry the
He's
girl
the bitch that's
Yeah.
wettable, though.
Before he leaves... He is the bitch that's wettable. Oh my god.
For real.
Before he leaves, Cadmus agrees to free Charlie but refuses to salvage her executions, and Sidra's fists glow. The Queen Mother escorts Sidra to her new chambers, with Penelope following close behind with her head in her hands. Charlie sticks to Sidra's side and apologizes for being the reason Sidra must marry the king. Was it worth it? He asked. Yes. But you're not wearing the gauntlets of truth. And that is the end of chapter 5.
Was it worth it? Was it worth it?
All right. Next up is chapter 6.
Yes. And I can grab my iPad unless somebody else wants to take a stab.
This is also the one.
Phone?
This is also one where that moment between Lilith and Ellie happens that you were discussing earlier.
I'll read it then, I guess.
All right.
6.
Yeah. The one thing I want to note here is that we had a session that occurred previously. We had actually played a Halloween themed session before this, but in the timeline, this session happens first.
Yes, so we are reading in chronological order in the story, not the order in which sessions
they happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's smart on you guys' part. I didn't make that easy on you. I'm sorry.
Okay. So this session starts, John meets with Shylock and explains he wants his payment for the Sky Whales to go to the party and explains that they're, quote, big players. He tells Shylock about the party members and who they are, as well as their dealings with Zephyr and Prospera, who Shylock admits he is concerned about. He warns John not to get involved and tells him he will pay him the 50 gold under the condition he does not give any of it to the party. Ellie sees Charlie on the outskirts of Ivory Pines and asks what he's reading. He tells her it's archives from Dragon's Hearth.
Oh, this is the first time we meet Charlie, right?
After
the vision.
In present day.
The vision. Yeah, so the party didn't know who he was when you initially met him.
Ellie did because she saw him in Sidra's memories.
Oh, yeah, but as a
That's
child.
how she recognized him, though.
As baby.
Yeah. And this is just Charlie and Ellie anyway, so the party isn't here yet.
Oh, that's true.
Ellie sees Charlie on the outskirts of Ivory Pines and asks what he's reading. He tells her it's archives from Dragon's Hearth and asks if she's new, as he doesn't recognize her and there aren't many drow here. Ellie shrugs and offers no explanation, but introduces herself simply as Ellie. Charleston talks about local politics and the curse, but will not talk about his past. He sees Ellie's arm and asks where she's from. She tells him she's from Mosswood and that her arm is from the Moon Tree. He continues to question her, examining her arm, and Ellie questions as well, learning that he works as a light engineer at the Jeweler's Den Theater and was previously employed by nobility. Then grows
I'm a
leery
light
of
master.
then grows leery of her questions, as she has said little about herself. She eventually shows him her signet ring and explains that she doesn't know where she's been for the past 80 years. He connects the dots and tells Ellie he was in town the day she died and knew who she was. He invites her to discuss in private the following evening at the theater. Gwilla and Wick discuss what happened in the past day, and she further explains how the memory marbles work. He is supportive when she says she wants nothing to do with Deidre. He tells her found family is just as important as blood relatives, and shows her his House Copperson signet ring. He explains that he is the eldest son of the late Lady Copperson and rightful heir to all land and titles belonging to the house.
And this is when we found out that Wick is a lord.
Yep.
A runaway lord.
He can secure the party entrance to Dragon's Hearth, but it would be at the cost of the life he's built in Mosswood. as he would be expected to take a seat on the Noble Council and attend to matters concerning Dragon's Hearth. Gwilla tells him not to do that, and that they will find another way into Dragon's Hearth. Gwilla kisses him for the first time. Their moment is interrupted when Gwilla smells jasmine and smoke, Deidre. She and Wick follow the scent. Eventually, Gwilla makes her way to a pinewood clearing and instructs Wick to stay behind. She finds Deidre in the woods, and Deidre quickly recognizes her as her daughter, whom she thought had died years ago.
Oh god, this moment was...
This was tough.
Oh yeah, this was fun.
It was really good. I just remember how like stressed I was. I was like, oh my god.
Oh god.
Damage.
Emotional damage.
Gwilla refuses to give any more information. Deidre tries to tell Gwilla the full story of why she was abandoned. She explains that the king enslaved her by using Isabetta as a bargaining chip, and Deidre left Gwilla with her biological father so that she might have a chance of surviving. Deidre states Gwilla should stay away from her for her safety. Gwilla tells her that her newfound family needs help and tells her not to burn down any more villages. She also lets slip that her friends are the ones Deidre is hunting. Deidre asks if she knows the halfling. Gwilla ignores her and returns to Wick.
Don't burn down any more villages.
There's also a line here that I think comes from... I'm not sure if it comes up yet in terms of the nature of dragons and their emotions, but she tells Gwilla that love is dangerous for people like us.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe if you don't know how to control yourself.
Maybe if you weren't such a dick, Mom.
You were emotionally mature.
Just a thought.
The party regroups and heads to the Cindervale Brightbelly cabin. Quinn warns them as they approach that their father, Norwick, is in the study and doesn't want to be bothered, and that Jodel has gone blind in his old age. Paeris visits with their father, and they sing together. Paeris begins apologizing profusely, but Jodel demands they stop, that he's so happy Paeris is here, and that he doesn't blame them for what happened. He insists that the party stay for dinner against Norwick's wishes. They cry together and express their grief before joining the others in the living room. Quinn has found a friend in Ellie, Petra climbs up Gwilla and sits on her shoulder, and Lilith sings for Elliot. Jodel and Paeris join in singing and playing instruments. Gwilla notices...
fan art of this.
Well, it's too bad I don't know how to draw people playing instruments.
Gwilla notices
Yes.
Norwick peek out of his bedroom door, and that his eyes look frosted over. He quickly slams the door when they make eye contact. As they settle for dinner, Ellie sees a figure approaching through the driving snow and sneaks outside.
Every pine should just be like Paris's art TM.
Yeah.
Arc, not art, sorry. Well, both. Both.
Yeah, both.
That El Dorado scene. Both.
It's good. Ellie approaches the woman, worried she's out alone in the snow, and asks if she's alright before offering her a blanket. The woman says she knows Ellie is the queen's sister, and Ellie states she has no idea who the woman is, as she doesn't look familiar. Ellie attempts to read her mind, but Deidre won't let her, and the conversation moves to Sidra, who Deidre says is her true friend. She then states that she sees her wife in the window, and Ellie feigns ignorance. Deidre explains her wife's soul is in the necklace and bargains with Ellie, stating she will trade the necklace for an audience with Sidra. Ellie states she can't do that as the necklace isn't hers to give. She also tells Deidre Isabetta is safe and she... Oh my god!
Take a deep breath, take a deep breath.
Felt that.
She also tells Deidre Isabetta is safe and where she wants to be, and that she has had freedom to leave for as long as she's been with Poppy, but chose not to. Deidre becomes angry, but calms herself and says she will leave them alone for the night and tells Sidra she is really alive, but warns her not to get in her way in the future. She then leaves, and Ellie returns to the house where she tells the party what's just happened. The party decides they need to hide the widow's tear. Slight chaos ensues when Paeris, unthinking, removes the necklace from Poppy, and Isabetta begins speaking through Paeris, stating she cannot go back into the necklace.
And this was the first time we heard Isabetta actually talk. She was like, hello?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Her voice was awesome.
She is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am Isabella Hollis.
Yeah, Isabella tells the party through Paeris, because this is the first time Isabella can actually speak, because Poppy obviously cannot speak. She tells the party...
Poppy is bird. I cannot talk to Poppy.
Isabella says to Paeris specifically, I love you, I have seen your sacrifice, you all are our hope to save Catharsis, and Paeris, you saved me in spite of everything. I cannot continue on in your body.
Are you good? I'm just kidding.
You are very sexy, but I do not want your
I do not. I no.
After some shuffling, Isabella agrees to go back, and Gwilla puts the necklace onto one of Petra's dolls.
I am in doll now.
Ellie is able to read her mind and translate to the rest of the party. Isabella tasks the party to travel to Dragon's Hearth so that they can find her suit of armor. If her soul can possess it, she will be able to kill Deidre and rally the people in wartime. Lilith states that Isabella's strategy may be the key to their success and ending the war without violence. She then says, quote, "It all makes sense. Rally the people. Help them see that a brighter future is in their hands if they seize it. We don't need to kill Sidra for it to happen." And Ellie immediately becomes irate and leaves, angry at Lilith for telling the others Sidra is the Morning Queen.
And that was such a wow moment, because that was a slip up on my part as a player. I forgot that the others didn't know.
Yep.
I forgot that Lilith didn't. I forgot that Gwilla knew and didn't tell Lilith herself, and I completely forgot that Paeris also didn't know.
So Paeris is like completely blindsided.
So
by
I
this.
was
Like, what?
and I remember I was just like, oh my god, what do I do as a player? And then
I said, no. That was so good and natural. Let it happen.
and we went with it, and it turned out to be a really important moment for both her and Ellie, and I think the entire party too. So I think
I promised not to tell.
Yeah.
So, and I kept my promise.
you did.
You did. It just came out anyway.
Yeah.
Whether you
fart
still
again.
know this or not, Gwilla really loves Ellie. So
Yes, Ellie loves all of you as well.
Raise your hand if you ship it, listeners.
Do it, I dare you.
I dare you.
I fucking dare
I
you.
want to see you do it.
Alright.
first.
So
I want art. Trashy art. Give it to me.
Yeah.
You have permission from the creator of the character to create trash art. Do it.
You want it.
I want it.
You want
My
it.
asexual ass wants it so bad.
yes.
Just don't ooba booba them.
No.
I don't know what that means.
Ooba booba
Give him
them.
big
Gwilla
booba.
is like
Oh no, don't do that.
like a B cup. She ain't big. She's got a big butt.
She's on the itty bitty titty committee.
She's on the
What?
big booty balooty and on the
bubble
itty
butt.
bitty titty committee.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think canonically Lilith has the biggest bust of the entire party.
Probably. I don't know actually.
This is a really.
That's correct.
It is.
This is a really.
In all the
strange
art I've seen.
If we're including the love interest, it's K.
I have a feeling.
Yeah.
The K is muscle.
But that's all muscle. Lilith
K is stat.
Yeah, K is its muscle. Lilith is just booba.
Booba. Booba.
All right, so the last session we'll be covering tonight is Chapter 7, The Nightmare Moon and the Train of Thought, which was our Halloween special, our Halloween
I
spectacular, and also the first time that Ellie and Gwilla got to go to the dream world.
Yes.
The other fun thing about this, which I think is important to note, is that we played the session before Lilith and Ellie had that really bad moment.
Spat.
So as a result, Ellie and Lilith are like getting along just fine in this session.
But I also think we could, with dream logic, say, oh, they like forgot
I like that.
what
yeah.
happened that previous
I thought
day.
that was what we said.
That is what we said would happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool because it just shows that like they can get through this somehow.
Yes.
In any case, let me get started.
No, just kidding.
So I think, is this the first time we've actually seen the Train of Thought?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the Train of Thought's debut. So the Train of Thought is essentially, I mean, you can explain what the Train of Thought is.
I would love to explain it.
We love the Train of Thought.
Train of Thought is wonderful.
So
Choo-choo.
the Train of Thought is my brainchild.
This whole thing is your brainchild.
Oh, that's so true, Bestie.
It is.
There is somebody was asking me the other day, what module are you using? And I was like, I'm not
My
using
brain!
Module is
I'm
my
not
brain.
using a module. And he was like, how? And I was like, what do you mean? how. It's just how I do.
It's my brain.
Well, I think
Your
it's
talent
easier.
as a wonderful writer.
It's easier
thank
not
you.
to use a module.
Thank you
Yeah.
kindly. But that's how I feel too. I honestly think
Yeah,
it's easier.
I feel like modules are hard because like you don't know what's happening totally.
Right.
Also, the fact that like you constantly have to like check between like, okay, what am I supposed to say here? Is this NPC? What is this NPC supposed to be? You just, it's hard to balance that attention with role playing.
I think modules are great guides for people just starting out.
I love how Paeris is
And you can always take a module. Oh my god, that looks awesome. You can always take a module and like reflavor it to be whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's what I did with my library kiddos.
Yes, I do that all the time.
Children. They're great.
But so the train of thought is a train that literally goes through the unconscious, the collective unconscious of Catharsis. Oh my god, I hadn't played Persona yet.
That I knew all along. I'm like, this is so Persona adjacent.
And I was like, what do you mean? I've never played that game before.
Yeah.
But now that I'm obsessed with it, I'm like, shit, man. So the train of thought has a lot, is basically where all the dreamers go, as well as nightlings and dreamlings. The difference between a nightling and a dreamling is that a nightling is hence from the world of nightmares, and their job is to feed off of your fear and your energies. A dreamling is the opposite. They feed off of your joy and the things that make you happy. They feed off of you getting good fucking sleep. Then there are dreamers who are the regular citizens of Catharsis who are sort of just on this train being dropped off at different locations. But yes, and then every year, or maybe it's twice a year. I think I said it's twice a year. There is an event called the Nightmare Moon, where Selene lets Zephyr essentially take control for one night. It's an agreement they have, and the moon gets an eye, a Zephyr eye, and then everybody, when they go to bed that night, get nightmares. And it's just the worst night for everyone collectively in Catharsis.
It's kind of like Celine's version of the Purge, where like for 24 hours, Zephyr gets to do whatever the fuck he wants, and he won't get punished for it.
Yep, exactly. There's no repercussions until Lilith.
Right. Until Lilith and until his meddling sister.
And John punches him in the face. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Oh, also, a thing about the dream world and the dream aspect specifically, nightmares are very vivid. And made to be like real life, but maybe with more symbolism, kind of like Madoka style.
Yes.
But the dream world is like Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Yep.
It's like everything is handmade looking. The train conducter is a spider made of yarn. The train itself is like sort of paper mache, Eric Carl style train with all the gold being literal foil, and everything just looks arts and craftsy. All the food is like fake.
Yeah. It's just like a fucking stock image.
Yes.
Yeah. With like all the weird
Cut out of a
perspectives
magazine.
and bad lighting. It's like a collage. So when the party boards train of thought, they realize that their appearances have changed.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Ellie's tree arm glows a radiant white. Paeris' white streak in their hair is nowhere to be seen. Gwilla has undergone the most dramatic change, however, because she has shed her stone form to reveal a woman with a green complexion, draconic features, and short, wet, willowy hair. The party realizes that this was the form that she had before she died.
Yep. Plus some draconic features now.
Paeris gushes over Gwilla's new look, and Lilith is bewildered. Why the heck are my friends in the dream world when I'm the only one who can enter dreams of my own will? Hypnos offers no response. He just licks his eyeballs without a care in the world.
Another person who is here is John, and John, we discover in this universe, is a vampire.
And also a lucid dreamer.
Which in the technicality of the dream world is someone who can, for the most part, control not only themselves but other aspects of the dream. Like they can turn things into other stuff if they, in D&D terms, if they roll right. And then they can turn like a candle into a sword or whatever they need.
Yeah. So before Lilith can call for Islet and ask what the heck's going on, a yarn spider asks for the party for their tickets. Ellie gives him a look and then realizes that, yeah, there is a ticket that wasn't there before.
It's very Polar Express.
Yep. The spider then announces that you are on the train of thought and your next destination is wherever you land. A man in a hooded robe towers over the party. It is the Sandman, the agent of Iceland and Zephyr, and hands them a blank ticket with swirling letters. AICLRETWS. He then explains what the Nightmare Moon is, which we just went over. Iceland has summoned the party to help as many people as they possibly can. And the Sandman elaborates that the party will be facing off against Nightlings, beings who feed off fears and cause anguish when people sleep. Ellie expresses doubt about entering dreams without people's consent and seeing things they don't want to see, but Paeris assures her that it's a blessing when one's nightmares grow unbearable, like they've had first-hand experience with.
Mm-hmm.
The Sandman then gives them one final warning because he gives them domino masks to hide their identities. The dreamers may not recognize you as friends. You will have to convince them that you mean no harm or to help them escape. But if you blow your cover in the process, the Nightlings will attack you. And if you see an anomalous being that slaughters Nightlings and Dreamlings, run. They then get off on their very first stop, and everyone clings on to Gwilla. Paeris then says, "You may not be made out of stone anymore, but you're still our rock."
Aww.
The Nightlings swim in anticipation. They're very excited.
Shipping art.
Yep.
Do it.
So the party jumps into off the train, and they land in a packed theater, dressed in the finest garb an aristocrat can buy. Their heads are replaced by noble flowers and uncanny eyes.
Oh, this bit was...
An auctioneer then saunters on stage in a comedy mask. All proceeds of this auction will go towards the Church of Fultus and the efforts to civilize tieflings through the power of science.
Also, it would go to the Panacea Orphanage.
Yes, the Panacea Orphanage. Lilith and Ellie are pissed, but they both remain quiet, and they're pissed for different reasons. Ellie is mad about the Panacea Orphanage. Lilith is mad about Fultus. The auctioneer continues his carnival barker patter and holds out a red tiefling woman. Me, subject to euphoria. Her touch releases a pheromone that's as potent as the strongest morphine. Be sure to use it in doses. The pupils of the audience's eyes heads dilate and their paddles shoot up into the air. Euphoria shrinks and the party realizes that this is Lady Getsume before she took the elixir that turned her white.
Yes, right now she's a red tiefling.
Yep. Lilith and John work together and they manage to outbid everybody. Ellie wraps Euphoria in a hug as soon as she sees her, but quickly grows woozy because of the effects that she's gone under at the orphanage.
I want to say something again.
Yep.
She was a red tiefling.
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh, red tieflings related then? No.
Red tiefling, huh?
Wait, Euphoria was.
Yeah.
She took the cure and got
Turned white.
And
She was at the castle.
Someone had red tiefling blood. I just wanted you guys to know that.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So, any case, Getsume vanishes and rematerializes in the middle of another room.
No.
Water whips around her, and authority dabs a medical concoction onto Getsume's black eye, and says that he doesn't blame her in the slightest because he is truly barbaric. She then notes that at least they will not look at me anymore. Fish swim endless laps around her, including the party. Oh, wait, no, actually, yeah. Isn't the party like fish at this point?
You guys were part of the fish.
Yeah, so the party is swimming. They are fish. They have bulging eyes. Lilith notices scissors and summons a mage hand the moment that Ellie bites Euphoria's hair and calls out to the party to keep swimming. They whip up a whirlwind that drags Euphoria to the door, and Paeris catches the scissors from the mage hand and stabs the door. Getsume then sobs at the sight of the party, realizing who she truly is. Ellie tells her that it's okay, and Getsume says that Zephyr promised that she'd be protected and is really upset by this betrayal. Lilith calls out to her and says that while she doesn't know why Zephyr did this, she is still here for Getsume even if they no longer share a patron. And then Getsume lets out a laugh as she fades to the dream world. The party then goes to dream number 2, which is the hallway of an asylum. The agonized screams of tieflings pierce the air, blending together with matter-of-fact medical jargon and words of medical devices in an overwhelming cacophony. The party takes on the guise of nurses in this dream and rushes through the halls with a doctor's cart.
Real quick, I just want to know, you guys picked 3 tieflings.
Right.
Because I let them pick what dreams we were going to explore.
Because this one was Mary Jo's, Gets Me was mine, and then...
Authority was Gwilla's.
Yeah.
My second dad!
And then... So Paeris has no idea where the party is going. Gwilla tells them they'll likely know it when they see it, and Ellie begins to dissociate when she hears one of the occupants of the cells roar. A doctor calls to get the mother, and nurses drag a tiefling woman with yellow skin to the cell, and her screams for her son ringing the party's ears. A chimera shreds doctors like rag dolls in the cell. The woman calls for him and hums and says that it's okay. The chimera then lets out a wail and contorts back into a tiefling boy with yellow skin and a pronounced hunchback. The nameplate over his cell reads Subject Chimera. While Archive embraces his mom, the party realizes that she's little more than a cardboard cutout in this dream world. Ellie rushes over to him and reassures him that none of what he's experiencing is real. Archive then reverts back to his adult form, recognizes the party, and says that he's a monster and that they can't be near him. The party, especially Ellie, says otherwise, and tells Archive that even though he may try to hurt them, he is worth it. At that point, Nightlings crowd around the party.
As doctors.
And then at that point, Lilith creates a distraction, and they make their way to the door. But then Archive's mother curls around a music box and says that they're not supposed to be here because it isn't in the script. Paeris draws their short swords and scissors off a Nightling's head. And then Ellie tells the party to grab the music box and calls out to Archive. He notices that Ellie will be attacked. And then Lilith casts a spell as she launches Tasha's Hideous Laughter at the Nightling. Paeris and Ellie are okay. John goes in to sweep up the music box, tosses it to Archive, and then they run through the cell door, and they end up in that liminal space again.
I just want to say, I don't know if any of you guys have picked up on it, but I maybe it's already obvious, I don't know. But a lot of Zephyr stuff, like Nightling stuff, is always in reference to, like, the theater.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, that's not in the script. Like, what are you doing? And whenever you go between Zephyr's Garden and...
it's going backstage.
It's always going curtains. It's always going backstage.
And the idea of, like, him performing for the tieflings, the mask motifs, the costumes.
Lots of masks. Other NPCs that we have just met have masks that are theatrical.
Characters being, like, props.
Yes.
And cardboard cutouts. So in any case,
Performance.
they go into a room that is empty in a courtyard dotted with raspberry bushes. Archive apologizes to the party for not telling him about his past or his chimera form. Ellie then says not to worry about it, and before she second-guesses herself, she gives him a quick kiss.
And I think that was the only Ellie Archive kiss?
Only
one,
time,
yeah.
and I feel like it doesn't really count.
'Cause dream.
It was a dream one, and Ellie only did it so that he would remember the dream. She wanted to make sure that she did something insane so that he would remember what happened when he woke up. So
Baby.
what?
I said, baby.
Oh, I thought you said maybe, and I was like, no, that's what I told. That's what I told you. No.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But fun fact, Ellie is totally averse and was like super grossed out
Not
immediately
even
after
kisses.
that.
Yeah,
no
no.
kisses for Ellie.
Just
No.
now.
So yeah, that was totally insane, and it was for the only reason was so that he would remember that they had encountered each other in his dream that night.
So Ellie is the last to leave the liminal space and follows the party through the door and out of a shed, where a large brown tiefling with red splotches named Muscle towers over a blue tiefling man wrapped in white bandages. The tiefling man is clearly authority and taunts Muscle with piercing yellow eyes, and as Muscle raises his fist, a Kingsguard shocks them both and threatens them. Yvonne in a hood calls for authority by the gate, telling him that she has a letter for him. He then says, but you never gave me that letter. And her head is now missing when she lets off her hood, and she says that it's all because you weren't there to save me when I needed you most. She then turns into some sort of hybrid of the form that the party initially found her in when they had to fight her to break the first rune. And Then Paeris quips, "I thought I was your worst nightmare toward authority," leaping onto his shoulders and explaining how the party will help him escape. John taunts Yvonne, and Gwilla grabs a letter from Yvonne and snaps authority out of his dream state. He wraps her and Paeris into a hug and grins and says, "Let's be troublemakers together." The party escapes the dream world and lands in a field of flowers. He then says that it's too bad he's disappearing because it looks like the party has gotten themselves into quite a mess. However, the party is not alone in the field. Over the horizon, a figure twitches in and out of existence, kind of Spider-Verse style.
Yes, very Spider-Verse style.
Unstable, glitchy, like they're bouncing between different planes of realities and versions of themselves.
They're also screaming, like, a lot.
Paeris then hands the ticket with the scrambled letters to them, and the knight snatches it, and the scrambled letters snap into place to read Claire Wisteria. Paeris takes off their mask and hugs Claire, which stabilizes her, and Paeris reassures her that it's okay and that she's not broken for having such terrible nightmares. They then go deeper into the forest with Claire and spot a mother and daughter walking. The mother's face is hidden in shadow, and she instructs her daughter to hide in the hollow of the tree and to not leave until she returns. Her mother kisses her forehead, and then people start shouting as soon as she enters a cottage on a hill. They then hear the sound of something heavy dropping, and the crowd parts to reveal the mother and another figure hanging in a tree, and the girl sobs. Ellie rushes to comfort her as the cottage goes up in flames, and Abriel, who is the young girl, realizes exactly what's happening.
Oh, this bit is so sad.
We're gonna return to this
I'm
very soon.
I'm excited to return to this for sure.
A woman with a marigold head threatens the mob with honeyed words. The forest then erupts in a fiery blaze, and John instructs Abriel to follow him as the mob gets closer. The marigold-headed Nightling, who has a bluebell pin on her cloak, notes that the party are rule breakers and that word travels fast in the dream world. The party manages to escape, and they bid Claire farewell along with Abriel. The party then goes to their final destination, which is a schoolhouse, and they listen to Abriel as she tells them about her past and her noble lineage. She is in fact a member of the Bluebell family, but ended up taking on a new name for, as of now, unknown reasons. John hugs her as she fades away, and then a turtle teacher asks the party if they're done yet. They now realize that they are in the guise of children, and they kind of act out in their own little ways. A child bursts.
That was fun.
Yep. A child burst pouts in his chair and child Wick's words do little to calm him down, and the party spots a matchbox mixed in with the school supplies. The teacher asks Ellie to write in cursive, and she grabs the matchbox on her way up and does the teacher requests. Lilith comes up to the board next and writes a anti-Nightling diatribe in Flawless Celestial, and is then sent to the dunce corner for her efforts.
Go to the dunce corner, you dummy.
Gwilla watches Burst fret over a letter he sent to his crush, a blind half-orc named Tybalt, and goes over to comfort him.
I forgot his name.
Ellie joins her and gives him the matchbox and instructs her to take it and walk him out the door. Burst does and approaches Tybalt just as three other boys push him around. Burst's temper flares and he ignites the matchbox. Tybalt staggers through the blaze, flames licking up his limbs and leaving burns in their wake, and things just get nasty and they manage to get Burst through the door, somehow. But this time, the door slams shut. The party is now in a black parlor room decorated with butterflies and winged things. Nightlings prowl the perimeter, and a live figure in a plush armchair delicately sits and complains that it was supposed to be his night, and the party realizes that they're now face to face with Zephyr in his special room.
In my brain, I picture this very Coraline when she confronts the other mother.
Yep.
Yeah, I can totally see that. I loved this fucking session so much. I loved this one. I don't know why,
I think it's one of my favorites. I'm not gonna lie.
And this moment, I'm just gonna read from the notes verbatim because this is just such a phenomenal moment, especially with John. I love this. Oh, this was supposed to be my night. Zephyr turns to the party and scowls. Wow, I didn't think you'd look that much of a twink, John says. You really thought I'd find that offensive? Zephyr sneers, leaning uncomfortably close to John's face. But John continues to volley a barrage of insults at Zephyr, each one more cutting than the last. How he's hurt so many people, how he's been an absolute creep to Lilith, how he continues to torment Paeris and all these other people that he cares about. Consequences don't cross John's mind, not even when Lilith tries to shut him up with a mage hand. What matters most to John is that Zephyr realizes just how loathsome and pathetic he is. Enough, Lilith says to John, before turning to her former patron and ripping off her mask in defiance. Your nightmare moon shenanigans are over, Zephyr. Zephyr's scowl deepens, but as Wiki prepares a retort, smack! John wallops Zephyr in the face.
Crunch.
That's for hurting my friends. The Nightlings gasp, oh, the drama! And Zephyr staggers back with a wicked grin. Cute, he says, lunging forward at John like a predator. But you're going to regret that little stunt. And with that, John vanishes with a snap of Zephyr's fingers. And the quest to awaken John will become a plot thread throughout the entirety of book 2. Gwilla wraps her arms around Burst and screams at Zephyr and tries to exit his throne room. She's done with everyone and she just wants to leave and have him leave them alone. That's the one thing that really pushes Zephyr over the edge, and he launches into a rant. He's so caught up in it that he barely notices Aislinn descending from a spiderweb to whisk the party away.
He's like, you monologue too hard.
The party returns to train of thought, and Lilith formally introduces the party to her new patron, Aislinn. They're a little freaked out by her, but at least she's not Zephyr, so that's okay with them.
I thought she was cute.
She then explains that John has been whisked away to an even deeper level of the Nightmare world, and she doesn't know how long it will take for them to wake up. She knows that Lilith is the only one who will be able to rescue him. She then sends the party back to Ivory Pines, but tells Lilith to stay for a while longer so she can give her a wish. The following morning, Shylock paces around his castle with a mug of hot chocolate. Then he goes upstairs to one of the guest bedrooms. And that's where he finds John laying perfectly still, hands in his chest. Sweat beads on his forehead, and his brow twitches. And no matter what Shylock does, his friend does not wake up.
Did we go over the episode where we introduced Shylock? Oh no, that's next session.
No, you had Shylock briefly.
Did we?
It was one of the first sessions with John.
Oh, that was so long ago.
And with that is the end of chapter 7, as well as the end of this episode of Catching Up with Catharsis.
Woo!
Yay! If we sound tired, it's because it's after 10 p.m. and we're normally don't hang out this late.
Nope.
But it's a Friday, so we can.
Yay.
And we are.
Yes.
Yay. But with that being said, thank you all for listening.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate you. Cthulhu.
Stop it.
Woo.
Alright.
But you know what?
So,
Thick.
alright.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
I don't know, they're never coming back.
Alright.
Or they're coming back for the wrong reasons.